Thanks very much for coming today. And my name is David Quinn. I'm the chair of the undergraduate program in animation in IADT. And Michael, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Michael Connerty, and I teach film and animation history and visual culture on the undergrad animation program as well.
So we wanted to go through the new masters in animation, which we're launching in September of this year, 2024. It's a Master of Arts in Animation. On the Irish National Framework of Qualifications, it's a level 9. That's master's level. On the European Qualifications Framework, it's level 7. And in terms of ECTS credits, it's 90 credits. That's 18 months, 3 semesters of student work. Okay.
So the idea of it is that it's a very broad and inclusive program, and that's we hope that's going to be one of the sort of unique aspects of it. So all things animation related, and there's various ways that you can make your way through the program. There's 4 distinct pathways, which are practice-based, practice-led, scholarly, and animation teaching. So the program, the intention is that the program will be flexible and capable of adaptation, depending on what kind of proposals you come to us with, and also the degree to which you focus on one of these pathways is something that you can discuss with us in advance of your application if you so wish. This is a very sort of complex table here that we wouldn't expect you to be able to take all this information in one go, but this summarizes hopefully quite clearly and reasonably concisely what's involved in each of these pathways. So we'll make this is going to be available, or is available already on the website. So if you want to look a little bit closer at what's involved in the various pathways.
And it's simple enough as well. It's just follow the colour for each of the pathways, and it'll give you a kind of, pretty good idea of what the expectation will be in terms of deliverables and activities, etc., etc. But again, as Michael says, all of these things are negotiable, and we're expecting students really to design their own pathway through the masters. Yep. Okay. Yep.
So I'll just very quickly. I mean, regardless of which pathway you choose, you'll be operating within the same kind of broad modular structure. So in semester 1, you'll be beginning with this research methods for visual media and creative arts module, which is a 10-credit module that covers research methodologies that are appropriate to master's level, and it's the opportunity really for you to get a sort of a sense or a handle on how to frame your project in terms of a sort of a theoretical base and a sort of analytical structure that you're going to carry through each of the 6 modules to completion of your project. So it's effectively the module in which you'll be conceptualizing the project and firming it up and building on what you've given us in your proposal, and then you'll start work on that proper in the second module, the early project module, which is a more substantial 20-credit module, which is essentially where you get the ball rolling.
And then in semester 2, we move on to a collaborative project module, which is 10 credits. Now, again, this would be a really good opportunity. We've, as many of you know, a very kind of vibrant undergraduate program, and this would be a real opportunity for you to either collaborate with the undergrads on projects, small projects or aspects of projects, or to contribute to the undergraduate program through guest lecturing and master classes, etc., etc. And then you're really onto the major project module, which is the main work of the masters. A major project module, 20 credits. The student embarks on the main creative work for their chosen project. Now we're envisaging that even though people will propose projects at the start and there is an application process, we'll go through that. But we are envisaging that those projects will mutate and change and develop as students go through the research methods module. They must be prepared to kind of change their ideas as they move in terms of their learning. Yep.
Which leads us then to the final semester. You'll be doing your project completion module, which is 20 credits. Obviously, that follows from the substantial work that you'll have done in the second semester. And then the master's program is essentially bookended by this, the methodologies module at the very beginning, and then this capstone and exhibition module at the end, which is a 10 credit module, which is a more sort of outward looking module where you present your work in some sort of a public space, whether that's an exhibition or a screening of work, or presenting your research or theoretical or historical work in a manner along the lines of a conference paper or something like that. But it'll be that module where you sort of consolidate and present and tie a bow on the work of the program.
In general, most applicants will have completed a bachelor award in either animation, that would be ideal, but also in related art and design areas. So it could be design for film or model making or art, etc., etc. Some applicants already are coming to us with having completed other postgraduate programs, and that's great. And then some applicants are coming to us having had extensive work experience in either the animation industry or the media industry, and that's also great. We also envisage an opportunity for learners to come from other discipline areas, meaning from psychology or ergonomics or ecology or whatever, another discipline completely, providing they were going to relate their expertise in their primary award to some aspect of animation related practice. So it could be a psychologist looking at aspects of animation projects or the way animators work or whatever, or an ergonomicist or an ecologist looking at animation industry and how the animation industry works from that perspective. So again, it's animation related but with a multidisciplinary or an interdisciplinary aspect to it. So again, these are things that will develop as we move forward. Yep.
We'll talk a little bit now about the application process. A lot of this information, the application deadline now, am I right, Dave, is next Tuesday?
We'd initially envisaged that the deadline would be tomorrow, and some people have their applications in, and that's completely cool. But we're extending the deadline until next week, so the start of next week. I think it's actually the 2nd, is it? No, it's the 2nd. It's Monday of next week. Yep, that's it. Now, the application process is not. This is, not a huge issue at all. Okay, it's so most of the forms are available on the website. They're standard forms. There's an application forms here, and go down to the next one, then, Michael. This is the basic direct entry application form for postgraduate programs, all postgraduate programs in IADT. It's a web form. It's information about you, and then some information about which program we want to apply for, etc., etc. Okay. And then in addition, then there was another form that we had envisaged going out. Yeah, next one there, Michael. Yep. And it's this one. It's called PG2 animation form. And again, it's got information about you at the top, but then crucially, if we go down to the next part here, it's got information about the project. Okay. So it's what you're proposing. And this is now, it's not been treated as a contract. This is just an application. Okay. So it's what you're thinking of. Okay. My project will be, and you select one option, will it be practice-based, practice-led, will it be animation scholarly, or will it be animation teaching, etc., etc. Then 500 words, not a whole hill of beans, okay, 500 words maximum, what I am proposing to do. So what kind of proposal, a project you're proposing to do. And then 500 words maximum again, what I hope to learn through my Masters in Animation project, okay, what do you think, what do you imagine would be the new approach or the new thing that you would learn, etc., etc. And then what small component of new animation knowledge might I hope to create or discover through my Masters in Animation project. And again, 500 words max on that. It's again, you know, what are you imagining you will do with this, okay, with the project? You know, what kind of nut are you hoping to crack with it, etc., etc., you know? It could be a technique thing, it could be a scholarly aspect, it could be a new approach to narrative, whatever. It's what new thing are you going to bring to this? And then in addition, then we're asking applicants to provide a 2-minute motivational or pitch video, basically explaining the main points of their project, what they hope to learn, and why they want to accomplish their project through IADT. Okay, and the video can be a straight to camera piece. It could include animation. You know, I mean, Michael said one of the videos we got, you know, was just, you know, it's a lovely blur shot of people walking on a beach or something like this, and it was just a voiceover. And that's absolutely perfect. It's not, you know, we're not kind of going to be looking into the colour of your eyes and wondering, you know, what the motivation is in that way. Okay, it's just you explaining as part of a video or animation what you want to do. Okay, so that's it. Again, it's basic information about your project and about why you want to do it. Yep.
And just to underscore as well what Dave has already said there, that this is a proposal, so it's you know, it's not you're not writing this in stone. This is to be negotiated and discussed. So it's you know, just laying out your idea as it currently stands, or your ideas as they currently stand, and it's a discussion document as much as anything else. But it's your opportunity to give us as much information as you can about
yeah, and that's another point there, just a tiny thing as well. When we went into this, we were envisaging that people would pitch one project, but actually our head of department advised us, with her experience in master's projects, she said, get them to try to pitch 3 small ideas rather than one big one. And, you know, it's a great idea because it means that you're not putting all your eggs into one basket that might not work, you know. It means that, you know, it allows the panel as well to see the kind of range of ideas that you have, the range of techniques that you're working across, etc., etc. And it might be that the panel pick out kind of the one that you kind of are least invested in certain respects, but would get the most out of through negotiation as you move forward. So again, if you can do 3 small ideas rather than one big idea, that would be great too. Okay, but certainly give us, as Michael says, as much information about what you're proposing to do, and crucially why as well is the thing. Yep. Okay. Now, the application process, again, the project proposal can be a single highly developed project, but we suggest 3 very short proposal ideas, 1 page each, can include images or video links, etc., etc., you know. And then a portfolio of art or animation work, next slide is but then a 2-minute motivational pitch video, explain the main points of your project, what you hope to learn, and why you want to do it through IADT. Okay. And then on the portfolio, click there. You know, this is just standard portfolio stuff. It's just where is your portfolio and your show reel at the moment? What film and animation related work have you been done? What scholarly work have you done? Any digital or web-based work, any kind of media or relevant AV work or anything like that. And then any work submitted as part of the application process, whether creative or scholarly, should be support the specific project proposal of applicants. Any presented work will be assessed by the program team as part of the application or the recognition of prior learning process. And again, some people will be applying for this in time that will have been out of education for a long time, and that is absolutely fine. You don't need to have done another master's or a very recent BA Honors Award or anything like that. We'll discuss that with you, and relevant experience can count for a lot. Okay.
And it's what we're looking for in the portfolios is a lot. This is a lot less prescriptive than it would be in the case of the undergraduate animation program, because we acknowledge that people are going to be coming from all kinds of different backgrounds with different levels of experience. So, a show reel is going to mean a different thing in one applicant's case than it would mean in another applicant's case. Or if an applicant is looking to focus on a theoretical or historical piece of scholarly research, then again that's going to be reflected in a different type of portfolio than would be the case with somebody that's looking to concentrate primarily on producing a film.
And the other thing as well that's different to undergraduate is that we'd envisaged quite a number of people coming in will have worked in big teams, and so just be crystal clear about attribution and about claiming what work you did on a particular project, etc., etc. Whereas undergraduates will generally have been working in a very individualistic way on their own work. So that's cool. Yeah. Okay. And then just in terms of future careers, we put this down. This is more for applications, etc., etc. We're just pointing out that animation graduates are employed in leading studios, and the recent graduates have established a number of really prestigious studios of their own as well in Ireland. Okay, and that brings us to the end of that. Okay.
So obviously take note of both of those email addresses if you don't already have them, and do get in touch with any kind of questions that don't, ask. You can feel free to ask questions now, obviously, but if there's anything that doesn't get covered in the coming minutes, or that we didn't cover there, or something that doesn't occur to you until tomorrow or next week or whatever, just get in touch. And of course, we should make it clear as well, some of you may want to try and apply for the first intake, which we hope will happen in October, but there may be others who are thinking that this is something you might like to look at for next year or the year after or whatever. So obviously that if that's the case, you'll have plenty of time to think about questions that you may have. But the virtual door is always open, so please do get in touch with any queries or ideas you want to run by us.
Yeah, the great thing about this is that this is forever now, people. It's we're determined to launch it this year. We're determined to launch it this September, even if it is with a smaller group. That's ideal because it will allow us to test the program as we've envisaged it. But after that, then every summer we'll be looking for applicants, and we'll be offering this opportunity to recent grads, to grads from other programs, from other colleges, etc., etc. So, this is going to be, the induction is going to happen every September from now on, and that's going to be a great opportunity that we never had before in terms of animation and IADT. Okay. Just a couple of things. First of all, are there any questions right there? Just before we move swiftly on to next issues. Any questions, people? Hi, Shan.
Yeah. Hi. I was wondering now, I don't know if I'll be able to do the Masters this year just for my own financial and logistical reasons, but I was wondering in the future, would there be any capacity to do like certain parts of the Masters remote, just with as soon as I finished my postgrad, I moved home, so getting back's a bit of an issue.
That's a good question, Sean. Yeah. I mean, we would certainly. I mean, that's something we've thought about a lot, and because in terms of thinking about the kinds of people that we hope are going to want to do the Masters and take part in the program, time is going to be an issue. So again, this is going to be a big difference from the undergrad program. So we would hope that a lot of that it's possible. Again, this is all depending very much on the nature of your project that you propose and so on. But we would certainly hope that a lot of the work can be carried out, well, A, independently, and B, certainly remotely as well. So, a lot of you'll have a supervisor, or at least one supervisor, probably a number of supervisors, who you will make your own arrangement with in terms of the regularity of contact, the nature of contact. There's no reason at all why that can't happen remotely. The idea would be that the kind of the bookend modules, so the very first module, the research methodologies module, and then the capstone module at the end, there would be a requirement that there be a kind of a presence, that's the research methodologies module is a taught module involving kind of lectures in a classroom. Now we'd be talking about no more probably than one taught lecture per week, and maybe a tutorial or a seminar in addition to that. So even where there is a kind of a requirement for attendance, it would be pretty minimal and hopefully quite manageable for people who have other life things to juggle with this. Does that answer the question, Shan?
It does, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'd really, Shan, the reality is we'd really be expecting most of the students on this to be doing most of the work at home or remotely off campus. We reckon no more than a tutorial, a meeting with supervisor and co-supervisor, a tutorial every fortnight. As Michael says, the research methods module will be one lecture per week, and you might meet your supervisor on that evening as well. Likely those lectures will be delivered in evening sessions. And then the only other real need to come in on campus would be for the capstone module, which is we envisage as being a very, very short kind of day or 2 day long module that's pretty intensive in terms of activities, but you get through the bulk of the work, the face-to-face work on the capstone module within 2 days, and that includes some of the exhibition component. I mean, that's preparing materials for exhibition. So we really do envisage that most of the candidates will be working remotely. We'll do what we can to support and help that as well. As Michael says, if the tutorials with supervisors and co-supervisors need to happen online, that's doable as well. And what we're thinking as well is that we'd hope that some candidates in time would be able to complete the programme not even in this country, that they would be allowed to remain at home in their own countries in Europe or wherever, and that they would be able to complete the work of the program quite effectively from another place. Maybe meeting us in IADT once, twice, or 3 times during the program. But again, that's to be negotiated. Now, one of the other things that arose was we had a number of applications from people who were outside of the EU, and one of the questions was, would this program allow them to apply for Irish study visas, student visas? And we've got the information from the Department of Foreign Affairs just the last few days, and basically the Department of Foreign Affairs develop and update each year a list called the ILEP. It's a list of eligible programs for study. And this program will not qualify for that. So apologies to anybody. We didn't have the clear information. The criteria is that the programs, in order to qualify for visa application, the program needs to be taught program. It needs to be a minimum of 3 days each week contact time, and that's not anything that we envisage for this program at all, you know. So apologies to anybody who was hoping to study on this program by getting an Irish visa. It's not going to be an eligible program at all, you know. The last thing we'd say on remote study is, and it's something that we're going to visit with the undergraduate team as well, is that we're finding that the more self-directed a student will be, the more responsibility they'll have to keep the program team updated, informed about their progress, about their learning and reflective process. And effective communication will be really essential, and kind of the onus will be on the master student to do that themselves, you know, to keep their learning journals, to update those and to communicate those with their supervisors and their co-supervisors, to ask for help when they need it. The program team will be, really hoping that the students themselves, the master students themselves, will be able to manage their own projects and will be able to manage a lot of their own learning as well. Okay, Michael, do you want to deal with the classes or no classes question as well?
Sorry, the classes or no classes?
Will there be taught classes, etc., etc.? That question.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sorry, yeah, sure. So I mean that's I don't know if this has necessarily been made clear, but it's a very important aspect of the program. I think it's important for anybody considering it to understand that it is emphatically not a sort of an upskilling program where elements of animation practice are going to be intensively taught in the way that you would find on training programs or indeed on our own undergrad program. So it's, even though it's a modular program that is split into the 6 modules that we outlined, for the most part those modules are characterized by kind of independent study. Most of what will be happening in terms of your relationship with the program team will be supervisory tutorial meetings specifically related to your projects. And so in that sense there will not be there really won't be a lot of classes, in terms of a timetable, because there's a couple of people asking about timetables and schedules and so on. Because it's, of course, we understand that people will be balancing attendance on the program with work and other kinds of commitments. Again, I wanted to repeat myself too much, but a lot of that will be in negotiation with your own supervisor and will depend very much on your own project. So some candidates may wish to spend more time on campus than others. But certainly in terms of a requirement to attend classes and a kind of an undergrad style, weekly timetable, that's not what it's going to look like at all, except as we were saying, at particular kind of crunch points, really at the beginning and at the end.
Yeah, and that'll be very focused, and that will be kind of very strictly timetabled in negotiation, as Michael said, with the students. You know, who's available when, etc., and what's a good time to do the on-campus pieces. Okay. So I think that's about it, Michael, in terms of what we wanted to discuss. Oh yeah, the final thing as well, in terms of just last thing, is we were developing criteria for assessing the actual submissions, and it's quite simple. We've broken it into 4 sections basically. The first thing is the candidate eligibility. So it's the eligibility of the candidate for the program based on previous experience, education attainments, and or previous creative or scholarly work. And then the second thing is the quality and or potential of the projects proposed. So the quality of ideas, the imagination and support materials presented, etc., etc., you know. And then the third criteria for assessment of the applications is just a clear need or reason why the candidate presents clear personal, creative or scholarly ideas about why this animation masters in IADT needs to be attempted for them. And then the last criteria would be, we're calling it fit with program. Will the candidate fit well with the master's program offered? In other words, have they a strong willingness to self-direct their studies and their project work, a willingness to take risks and to operate outside comfort zones, and a determination to learn and to attempt something new. So what we'll do is, as I say, we have a number of the applications in already. Early next week, we'll go through those applications, and we'll mark them on a numbers basis, give the candidates the score, and we'll also endeavour to give feedback to the candidates, just telling them how the proposal was, and you know, what was good about it, and then what needed to be developed further, etc., etc., and that hopefully will be the start of negotiation with the candidate as they move towards commencing their work on the master's program. You know, so that's it. That's really all we had to say. But again, we're trying to be as clear as we can about the criteria as well, in terms of assessing the applications. You know. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think any sort of further questions that people have, if it where it relates to the program itself and the kind of rollout of the program, or your idea for your project, your proposal, all of that kind of thing, get in touch with myself or Dave, or myself and Dave at at michael.connerty@iadt.ie and david.quinn@iadt.ie. But if you have kind of technical questions as such relating to the application process, it's admissions@iadt.ie. But I guess if in doubt, get in touch with myself and Dave.
Yeah, don't tense up people on this now. Be creative, be imaginative, take risks on this, and have fun with it as well. You know, if you're going to be working at this for 18 months with us, set out to have a bit of fun with this too. Like, and that can be fun in an animation way as well. Okay, so. But something imaginative and creative and risky would be absolutely cool, and we look forward to it. Okay, thanks everyone, thanks for being here. Okay, thanks very much, Jack. Thank you, thanks Michael. Okay, we'll see you then. Right, bye. Thanks, Shan. Thanks, bye.